Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the campfire chat for Insomnia versus Eunoia. We are keeping it short while setting up the lobby in the background. We have just seen Eunoia taking a very wonderful 2-0 against their opponent Archon. So Archon is playing after this best of 3 against Insomnia, and they will need to take the win. On the other hand, Eunoia, therefore, coming in very chill, very confident. The pressure definitely not so much on your shoulders here. We are kicking it off with a lot of speed, instantly on the survivors, instantly able to down, pretty often going for a slug, especially Xeno loves slugging with this killer in a very dominant way. I am talking about the Billy on the Blood Lodge. What a great opener for a best of 3. Immediately throwing the survivors into a situation where they are on pressure, and due to the high mobility and instantly finding a survivor to go into chase with, we usually don't have time on the survivor side to set up on the generators spreading across the Blood Lodge, and you really have to work with what you are getting, testing how spontaneous the teams are and how good they can work with the surroundings here. And then afterwards, Ray, another killer for you is Spirit. I heard you like her pretty much as well.
Yeah, finally I get to cast a Spirit game. This is probably my first time in DBDLeague. How crazy is that? We've seen so many Spirit games, and I have yet to cast any of them. So I will be definitely looking forward to that and judging as a Spirit player myself. So I expect to see some top tier phases. But if you pick an S tier killer in like games like this, you definitely have a player who is confident, because that killer can definitely lead to some mistakes or some really, really good snowballs. So we'll have to see what they have in store for us today. I'm excited.
And if that is not enough, then we are going to have our tiebreaker set, which is going to be the one and only Wraith on the Dead Dog Saloon. Very dangerous killer, has caused a lot of trouble. There were times when no one outed the Wraith on the Dead Dog Saloon. So that's definitely a very, very threatening opponent when we are looking into that. So far, we have to say that the Weekend Cup also did not need a tiebreaker. All teams yesterday, Bomb, Corpse, and Valentine's, and today Insomnia, Archon, and Eunoia have finished all their matches with a 2-0. So we're really using this group stage to spread the seeding a little bit and make sure that we are aware who is the best of the best going into the playoffs spots, and making sure that they are getting a guaranteed spot in the AHL 2024. Killer seems to be ready as well, so we are loading into the match now. Garafa is on the killer side. For Insomnia, Garafa is Ray, let me tell you that from the previous community nights. Garafa is an absolute beast on the killer side. He's basically playing everything. There's no killer so far that I haven't seen him taking. He takes a lot of responsibility. He's able to turn matches when the survivor team is not performing that strong. So there's definitely something we can look forward to. And the problem for Team Archon, starting on the survivor side, is, of course, you're coming in with a loss. So you need to win. And now you're facing such a confident player on the Billy on the Blood Lodge. So once again, the early game needs to be on point.
I see. Archon's playing this? I thought it was Insomnia versus Eunoia.
Am I mixing up stuff?
Yes, you are mixing it up a little bit, but that's okay, because that's why I'm here. I love proving you wrong. So, we are loading in right now. You did say that this killer player plays almost everything. It's gonna be really interesting to see, especially because we have Billy and Spirit, 2 S-tier killers. And we are already loading in. We are already gaming. We have the Hillbilly, a classic Billy build. Oh, we have some mind games already happening. I can already tell. This guy has aura. I would definitely be a little bit scared. Fanatophobia, Ruin, Crowd Control, and Face the Darkness. 2 not very used hex perks, but we've been seeing a lot of use in DBDLeague recently. So with the nerfs of slowdown perks and the restriction on perks for S-tier killers, we definitely see a lot more unique builds, and I'm pretty excited to see if we will see use out of them. We have a classic laser tech bringing in the no miter. Are we going to see a wonderful curve here? He's just so patient. Look at that. Doesn't even go for just some crazy stuff. Goes for the stuff you know is going to get you the down, because here's high stakes. This prestige Billy with that amazing looking hammer. Oh god, yeah, I would be scared. A down happening early is not unheard of in a Billy set, however. So the survivors actually have a decent bit of progress. We don't have our ruin cleansed yet, so he could pressure them off those generators and get some regression going. This was the double generator, yeah, that one in the corner. So we have our first generator popping, and we did have another survivor diligently working a little bit further away from us. We'll have to see if the Billy knows where it is. He is kind of just hovering here near the hook. Does he believe that there is a savior hidden in the bushes? I bet not. Maybe, potentially, possibly. Billy, because he's so strong and he has this map mobility here, he's a little bit thick in the thighs, but because he's got this high mobility, he can just go around pressuring the map like an insane man, except the save does indeed happen. He stood here around the hook for so long, but it was not rewarded. Crowd control's still up. We don't have Face of Darkness activated just yet, but we do have a downed Lori. This is not our tunnel out, and another generator does pop. There are two other injuries around the map. The survivors are actually playing this very well. It does look like the Billy is ahead because of how many downs he's quickly getting, but this is Blood Lodge as well. We've got too many filler pellets. The reason he's placed on this map is because he's so strong. Now to see if he can pressure the map and get some more downs. Billy is very good at that. We have the heal happening onto Raiden, and we don't have any other survivors. They are a little sneaky. Oh, never mind! The AC eats a cross-map chainsaw! That is something you want to happen.
This was really, really insane, and it's going to trigger a little bit of a turnaround here. Abdel going down so unexpectedly is a huge win for Garafa here, who now has significantly more pressure throughout the Blood Lodge. Sponge 1v1 also still injured. Our Nomada survivor, of course, injured as well, but only Raiden right now who can take a little bit of risk here, forcing an M1 and still running afterwards. Garafa finds Lori. Sponge is injured, and M1 would be enough. We are working around the shack here. Double vault with the window, making it back inside, but unfortunately getting stuck here. Garafa trying to get more pressure on the survivor team with the slug of Abdel originally, and Sponge will not be able to punish the killer for being so greedy. Therefore, Sponge is now going to land onto the hook 60 seconds away from the elimination. Abdel is back on the feet, moving over towards a generator, trying to get as much progress as possible. We have seen one generator is beyond the 50% mark. That's really it at the moment for the objectives. We do see a firecracker coming in play, but it's not needed as the killer is unfortunately getting stuck on the curve here. But this is a curvable tile. You need to be very careful there. Nancy does make a good job and moving around the corner just in time. Billy now breaking the pallet. Nancy with enough distance to make it towards the fun bus here, but we do have the weaker version of it. The pallet, however, is still dropped inside. Little bit of a 50-50 mind game required. We won't make it back towards the window, so so Alki is... Actually, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that, but we are going to see the first stage onto this survivor. Definitely a good chance for the survivor team, having the survivor hook that has 2 minutes of hang time and preventing the tunnel out of Sponge for a little bit. Yet, they definitely need to speed up a little bit on the generator because our Billy is really getting warmed up here.
Some excellent curves. You can definitely see why they decided to pick this. And this is why Billy is so scary, because look at him, he's just going around. He's bouncing around the map. He was just over there by Fun Bus, and now guess what? He's over here by the shack. Oh god, that would have been an insane curve as well. Lori, mind reading, however, not giving the hits for free. We're gonna see another one. Oh my god, it was so close. Oh my god, it's a fake and it's a vault. Sponge is definitely showcasing his 1v1 skills. That's why they call him Sponge 1v1. And are we gonna see another down happening here? No, we don't believe. But they try to cleanse it on Totem, and guess what? That's not the ruin. that I believe was crowd control. So one of our hex perks is dead and gone, but it wasn't ruined. It's arguably one of the strongest perks in our arsenal. We do have Thanatophobia. It's slowing down the gen just a little bit, but it really does shine if we get all 4 survivors injured. But Raiden is completely healed up. We did come back here. Our Nancy somehow morphed into an ace. This bus, even though it is not the strongest of buses, is definitely giving us a lot of time wasting. We have 2 generators left in the trial. That will be your first hook ace. That is 4 freshes. But now we're back here onto the trail of Raiden, who has balanced landing, so this won't result in a down just yet. Are we gonna see another found out survivor over here? We do know that Nancy was around. Is she stealthing? We have 2 survivors. We see Lori, we see Fung. Do we see the Nancy somewhere around here? Oh yeah, she's kind of stealthing a little bit closer to the hook. She has no mither, so her grunts of pain are reduced by, I believe it's like 50%. So she is a little bit stealthier, and she is going for the save right here. We don't want the generator to get done, however, so we are trying to run around and be a menace. Oh no! Our thighs being thick actually works for us this time. We're gonna see a down happen onto Raiden. Hey, Thanatophobia! It's getting its max value. We need at least 1 survivor to be healthy to get rid of that effect. But the Billy is definitely on a slugfest now. We're gonna take a fat M1 onto this guy right here. He's now down. Are we gonna see more slugging happening? We're revving our chainsaw, going back. Oh, we're going back over here! And we do crouch, miss that just by a millimeter. We'll be taking this down as well. Are we gonna see a 4-man slug? This is so unfortunate because the 1 survivor who brought no mither is not the one on the ground. Yeah. And we are taking this hook right here. That will be Lori out of the trial into a 3v1. And oh my god, the Nancy! She's gone out in the open! Oh no! This is quickly snowballing into possibly the end of the game. Oh yeah, Ace, are you gonna make it to that filler? You gonna go for a swing? Oh, he's down. No. We're not gonna
Very
make
unfortunate. Very unfortunate here, back to back. First for the killer when our Nancy was the last standing survivor while having no mither, and then very unfortunate for these survivors not reaching that pallet in time. Nancy not expecting the double vault by the Billy, now going to be caught here with the chainsaw attack, but it's not going to land just yet, and we have this pallet still available, but we won't reach it a second time, even from the other direction. The pallet is not going to grant safety. 4K1. Definitely rough for the survivor team. I felt like in the mid-game there were 2 moments where they were setting up for a comeback, both times when they were in this little bit of a longer chase and being able to make Garafa a little bit more busy than he was anticipating it, and we saw the gens coming out as a punishment. This was the situation where I was like, okay, yeah, the survivor team does have a realistic chance of going into the end game, but ultimately Garafa a little bit too strong, a little bit ahead of the survivor team, and we could tell he was not just slugging. There was a thought process behind it. For example, as soon as you had Sponge 1v1 on the ground again, you pick that survivor knowing that it is the elimination and that it would force the 3v1 scenario. So it was not just randomly trying to get some pressure onto the survivor team, it was really thought through, and this game plan carried it out all the way. Even with the good potential from the survivor team, it is ending in a 4K1. Pretty normal result for a Billy. We have seen a lot of results like that in the Season 9. Good for the survivor team of Insomnia now. You don't have to worry about the escapes. So if needed, you can double, triple, quadruple 1 generator and you can push it through, and then when all generators are repaired, you know that you have taken the set point. This is the advantage. On the other hand, Billy will be able to play around the 3-gen because you definitely know that the survivor team would have to repair that fully to go into the win. We are going to see what Eunoia is going to put up on the Billy. It's going to be Insomnia on the survivor side, and we will catch you with the second trial in the Blood Lodge right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We have Raiden playing the Billy for a team. Yeah, team. I can't, you know what? I can't say it. Eunoia, yeah. Survivor team Insomnia. And we have Easy already on the chase here. Tries to go for a little bit of crutch, but is still going to go down. This is Billy S tier killer. A little bit of patience goes a long way. And we see a more traditional build coming out as well. Pop goes a Weasel, Hex Wound, Bananaphobia, and Bamboozle. 2 less Hex perks, 2 less perks that could be murdered during the middle of the game. Giraffa is bringing the No Mither. I love to see it. That is so pretty. A perk that is widely known to be terrible use in solo queue is actually seeing some professional use here in competitive Dead by Daylight. However, this is actually going to be detrimental to us because it is 1M1 away from just going down. And we're deciding to slug, actually. Never mind. You know what? It's the best perk. It's the GOAT. Because we're going to go back here. We're going to try to tunnel Easy out of the game to make this game way easier than it was before. We're going to see an insane curve here by Billy. That was so good. Yeah, you know what? Even though this was the other team's pick, here we have Eunoia showcasing that they also have an insane Billy player. That is a crazy start. We already have a survivor on the second stage and no gens done. That's going to be difficult to bounce back from.
Absolutely, this is going to be so rough. Raiden once more. He even slugged the No Mither survivor earlier because he knew that he will get the tunnel out in time. This is the confidence. I also love the Thanatophobia when you're thinking about it. Against an S-tier killer, survivor teams not really having the time to go for the reset. So what they're going to do after being hooked, they are going to stay injured, and then Banner is kicking in entirely. Next slug coming out, totally understandable. Suzu is the final healthy survivor working on the generator over here, but I do believe that the survivor team has way bigger worries than the generators at the moment. Half of the team is currently busy being slugged or on the hook, hanging around and vibing over there. We do see Ace just 5 seconds away from the elimination, and the survivor team not even trying to go for the unhook as they are getting the call that Raiden is staying over here. So we do see a little bit of progress on the survivor side. 1, potentially 2 generators going to be completed very soon, but if that's going to be enough to keep Raiden under control, this is something that is not certain at all. Raiden is trying to find Samurai, who is still slugged over here, but it won't be too difficult. The pickup coming through, that's going to be hook stage number 4 already. Second generator going to be completed. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, 3 more and we are going to talk about a win. 2 more and we would at least go for the tie condition, running through the other sets and then potentially returning to the pity if we have a 1-1 scenario, just barely missing the Claudette here. Now it's important that Suzu is staying alive. Nice use of the life there, making some distance, and here we are back onto the hook, barely missing the survivors, and we're going straight after Samurai, making sure that the hook stages are going to progress, and Raiden just seems like the ultimate killing machine.
These downs are just happening one after the other. Oh, a glorious little hook tech there. Hello Priority eating away at that chainsaw, but you know, there's not many other places you get to go. So the Renato here jumps into the locker, accepting defeat, will be going back up on the hook. 1 elimination already happening. It is not looking good for these survivors. Oh my god, getting all these down super quickly. This just shows how dangerous Billy can be. You know, last game it was looking like maybe the survivors were gonna get all gens done, but then they got snowballed, slugged, and it did happen here, but it happened way earlier in the game with not many generators left. Billy is just so strong after that buff. You know, people will say that you're crazy for calling him the strongest killer in the game, but to that I say no, because could Nurse have this much of a good map presence? Sure, her chase could be way stronger, but this killer's got speed and an insta-down. So this is just showcasing how incredibly strong he could be. Garaffa here caught out of place. No Mither only takes 1 hit and you're down. Are we gonna slug the No Mither? Oh my god. We're having so much value from this perk, so much value. Look at that recovery speed. Yeah, we're getting up off and around. But you know what? The Billy kind of just wants to make sure that the guy on hook dies. And if you sit there revving your chainsaw right in front of them, in their face, it's gonna happen. Yeah, no Mither is gonna stand right back up. Best perk in the game, baby. Oh, you know, I couldn't even see where she was because the overdrive was so in my face. But are we going to win another 50 here? Oh, we're going to go out! Claudette with her expert pathing dodges that just by a millimeter. Are we going to chase it down here? Shack Pellet is still up. Not anymore. It's gone. We have Bamboozle. We could Bamboozle this window. Tries to just have unique pathing. Crouched. Just too OP. Are we buying at least a little bit of time? I mean, yeah, this game it's looking like it's pretty much over. You need the no mither guy to do 3 gens by himself while this person sits on a hook. You know, it's not looking too good. This game is definitely gonna be won by Eunoia, not even their killer pick. That's gonna be really rough, especially going into the next set with another S-tier killer.
Yeah, I mean, the rough fact is also this, even if you would camp Susu here, 2 minutes, the no mither guy would not even able to go for all the necessary generators. And then you can just close the hatch, that closes the generator as well, and then you could even make an escape and it wouldn't help you. But the Rafa has been already located as Raiden is just playing out of his mind here on the Blood Lodge. Really beautiful. We should clip this entire trial and upload it onto DBDLeague YouTube as a tutorial on how to play your next Billy game when you have to 4K a survivor team. Beautiful performance from the curving, the mechanical skill, knowing where the survivors are, where to strike, how to tunnel at the right moment. We even saw confident decisions like slugging the no mither survivor because we knew exactly that the survivor team won't have enough time on their hands to pull anything significant. So insane showing here by Team Eunoia. They are coming in with a win as well. And Ray, they are looking so strong on taking the potential second win here, which would of course guarantee them a slot in the playoffs on the upcoming weekend. Super strong what they are showing us. But we have a second set here before they can call themselves the winner. And that's a little bit of a different killer. The switch from a Billy to a Spirit is quite significant. What is the if you could word one rule way, what's important for Spirit in comp, what would it be?
You know, I don't know if I could do it in like just one worded way, but I can give you a couple. Spirit is still an S-tier killer, so her chase is something to be feared, especially against a really good Spirit player. Using your headphones and listening to where the survivors are is definitely a skill. I know some people like to joke around and say, hey, if you want to be a good Spirit player, all you need is a good headset, but it's more than that. I've seen a lot of people struggle with just this sort of mechanic. DBD doesn't have a lot of transferable skills, so playing out these killers is just something that is definitely a skill you need to learn. Playing against a Spirit as well, she can definitely snowball, but not as much as a Billy. She's a slower killer. She's at 110% speed. You can use her phase to traverse the map, especially if you have the recovery Rusty Flute Green add-on. I'm betting we'll definitely see that in our games. So you do have to play a little bit more methodical. Her map is usually Wrecker's Yard for almost every league that you see because it is a somewhat smaller map. It's not as good as, say, Coal Tower, and it does have a lot of fillers. You try to bamboozle the Spirit, you try to throw like safer pallets, but even then, like in a Spirit set, no pallet is completely safe unless it's Shack pallet, and unless you go for a little bit of a tech that we have seen from high tier teams play Spirit. I can't remember who actually did it, but it was so insane to see. We'll have to see if the survivors can juke out a Spirit. She's very difficult, but it's not impossible. And we're loading into the pick of whose pick was this? Eunoia's pick. So we'll have to see if they have a Spirit main on their side. I'm excited to see how they play it out. We're definitely going to see some survivors who are naturally more quiet. We may see some Ace. We might see some Ada. We might see some, I think Sega as well is a little bit more quiet. We definitely won't be seeing any Fung Min or Jeff into our games. This is a little bit of meta gaming you see, just playing the slightly quieter survivors. But Spirit sets are definitely to be feared as well because the skill in this is definitely what matters. In Billy sets, yeah, skill does matter, but you can get away with being just slightly not the best Billy if your macro sense is good because he's fast. But you need to be good at Spirit to win a Spirit set.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spirit enjoyers, Ghostface fans, Bubba Loopers, Shack Pallet Droppers, Totem Hunters, Chest Openers, Funbus Loopers, Generator Architects, Wreckers Yard, Grinders, 1v1 ladder players, and of course Minecraft enjoyers when we are hitting +5 wood on the trees. We are back on the Wreckers Yard with Leonidas and the Spirit. Insomnia is down by a set point. Eunoia seems to smash through. They have taken the 2-0 against Archon, and now they are already up a point against Team Insomnia. But Insomnia has shown us in the Scrim Nights that they are a team to fight and not just giving up when being put into a difficult situation. So we can expect a lot from them. And so far, the survivors are doing a good job stealthing around, not allowing the Spirit to take an early injury or early pressure. It reminds me a little bit of the good old corrupt intervention hideout strategy that was popular all the way until 2020.
The hide and stealth out corrupt intervention strategy has upsides and its downsides. Upside, if you are able to fully stealth this out, you have a perk of the killer that's very strong. It's just immediately gone. But downside, if somebody goes down in the 2-tap very early, that means that you have almost no generator progress. Except, however, the survivors are definitely playing this super well because that stealth is rewarded with those 2 survivors doubling that generator and a little bit of generator progress happening. And then right here, this is huge. A missed phase on this Nancy. Our power's on cooldown and she's in a much better spot to just waste time. Yeah, and the killer is forced to leave. Going over to this generator that was doubled earlier, we saw 2 survivors here. Yet the Spirit is going to play a little bit mysterious, phasing after this survivor, possibly a sprint burst. Oh, this could be our deliverance as well. That would be terrible. Except the Spirit is not interested in actually still chasing him. She is going back to kick it, place Eruption on that generator. That would be very good for us to get an Eruption proc on it, except we need it down. That wasn't our deliverance survivor that we know of, but the Spirit knows she does not. Goes for a swing in this pallet. It's not close enough. She's taking a little bit of distance on that. Tries to go for a swing and still gets it onto this Ada. Very wonderful phase. Listening to the footsteps. Ada is quiet with sounds, but her cloggy footsteps do make a little bit of noise and is able to hit that phase as well. Is somebody here for the pallet save? I don't believe so. This will be our first hook happening, but man, that was a long time.
That was indeed such a good early game by the survivors. Even the other injury is already healed. So we are having 3 healthy survivors, 1 generator already completed, and I'm very confident that we have more progress in the other objectives around that. Therefore, the survivor team can look forward to a successful trial. Let's hope that they are able to maintain this pressure. 1 survivor is already stealthing towards the unhook, trying to get closer and closer towards the hook. We actually don't have a generator with more progress, but at least splitting up on 2 individual objectives now, trying to get as much progress in as possible. Leonidas here staying a little bit in the midsection. This is the disadvantage of dying in the pockets of the Wreckers Yard, because then the killer is able to guard 2 or 3 generators depending on the spawn locations, and at the same time making sure that no survivor is able to cross behind the killer and going for the unhook. Though if you're sneaky like our ace easy, then you're making it easy peasy behind the killer. And the problem with the borrowed time effect is that you can still get grabbed. Unfortunate move by Ada here, being thrown immediately back towards the hook there. Not what the survivor team planned, and now it's looking a little bit more rough. We can only hope that these 2 generators they started were consequently been worked on.
Yeah, we definitely need that, especially because this wasn't a decisive strike. It was just a grab. The 10 seconds borrow time does not apply if you get grabbed. So that definitely was a yoink and a half. We do get 2 generators done, however, meaning we only have 2 left, but our tunnel out is dying on hook, and we know that are not our decisive strikes, so the Spirit is free to try to get this Ada out of the trial as quick as possible. We see Ace swooping in last second. He has a 99 sprint burst. He's going to be able to get this save, possibly not even 1-for-1ing. The Spirit is nowhere to be found. Where is she? Here we go, and this will apply the effect of Babysitter, which we just saw had huge buffs. It deletes scratch marks for 30 seconds out of the Ada, and she will be for the people. That means that she is completely healthy. She still has the effects of Babysitter. She has about less than 15 seconds left, so our tunnel out is gone. And we have Before the People applied and put on the survivor who's now injured and our decisive strike. So if the Spirit wanted to tunnel this guy, it's going to be a lot harder now that decisive strike has been fixed this patch. We're a little bit bugged on the killer. However, for spectator, we won't see where she is, but we can't ever see where she is anyway while she's phasing. So as soon as something happens with the killer, we'll be able to see her again. We don't know if the survivors... Oh, wait, no, she's not a hook. Never mind. She is just, yep, there we go. Maybe they fix that. Sometimes whenever you switch to the killer while they're in their hooking animation, it bugs them out to stay in that spot, but I guess maybe that's not happening anymore. Now our tunnel out has gotten away. That is gonna be so difficult for the Spirit to come back from. Goes for a swing, but is aim dressing instead because the Ace did have sprint burst. We don't allow deliverance against the Spirit anymore. We decided that, that's too strong. So we've taken that out. The Spirit, even though she wasn't able to get the Ada tunnel out, she is still playing this match and putting survivors on hooks inside of this 3-4 gen area. The Nancy here is working on this middle generator. We don't see where Ada is. She's definitely taking a more cautious approach. She doesn't want to be found because turning this 4v1 into a 3v1 will be a lot more difficult. Oh, goes for a hit on this guy, but it does not happen. Renato, famous for having the quietest footsteps, is a little bit harder to track. So that will be him getting away, using up all of your phase. Tries to go for a balanced landing hit, but the Spirit, incredibly patient, still gets that tag. We have Sloppy Butcher in the game, so these heals happening onto these survivors that are just taking tags are going to take a long time to reset. So we can play this 3-4 gen area a lot easier because of the perks that we have brought in. Easy taking a tag as well. Everybody is injured except for the tunnel out. Where is she? We don't know. Possibly just sitting there on the other side of them. Oh, she's not even on the other side of the map. No, she has to play aggressive because these generators have so much progress. It's worth it to risk your tunnel out getting found because you need to get these gens done and break this 3-gen on the side. The middle generator has a lot of progress. The one in the corner has a lot of progress. The Spirit has to be everywhere at once, but it's not happening. She's gonna commit to this down on the other side of the map, but it's still not happening. The survivors are doing a good job of dodging these phases.
The survivors making a huge delay at the moment when we are talking about the killer gameplay. First, they were able to delay the tunnel out all the way until now. We are still with 4 survivors. But even afterwards, the Spirit was trying multiple times to switch towards other survivors, rotating throughout the survivor team and making sure that we are getting more injury. But ultimately, we are on 3 stages. And whenever you're talking about a very strong killer like the Billy, Nurse, or Spirit, a 3 for 3, 3 gens for 3 hook stages definitely sounds perfect for the survivor team. They will be very happy with that. And they found a good rhythm as well. They are constantly going for the resets. We are not seeing them overcommitting onto the generators. They are well aware how much risk they can take and when it's time to pull back. So as long as they are now not making an unexpected mistake, for example, with showing the tunnel out survivor to the Spirit and allowing her to take the 3v1, then we should be fine. Survivor is coming around though for the pallet save. Nancy is here in time. Ada will have an additional time window to make the Spirit run. We are going for the tunnel out. Leonidas needs to get the Ada. She's in reach for the pallet, but it's not going to happen this time as well. And I don't think that Susu was following us all the way, but it was 15 seconds of a delay with that pallet save, and we can see the result of that instant endgame coming out here. 2 generators popping. Spirit might have been able to stop one of these 2 generators if the pallet save wouldn't have happened. Therefore, great altruistic gameplay from the survivor team, saving each other, taking care of a team member, and all of that not with taking too much risk and handing too much towards the killer. Very smart by Suzu here, once again staying behind the Spirit, but the Spirit was expecting that. Nice back and forth here in the end game. This is going to be really close. We need a couple of survivors staying in the trial, at least a couple of hook stages. So Suzu would be great to keep in the trial because that's 3 more stages. But even if that's going to be secured, we are talking about 7 stages on a Spirit set. And usually, Ray, you would like to earn more than 7.
There was the middle game was played very well by the survivors. They were definitely on the plays. The Spirit did have somewhat of an early tunnel out with that pallet throw, and for the people and the babysitter, that combination definitely made it way difficult. They played to their strengths and to their perks. Very, very well played by these survivors. We're going to see their killer take the helm up next. We want to have the games go on for a little bit longer, so we can't have them take the next set. Insomnia will be playing the killer. Eunoia wants to be taking this one to make it a clean 2-0, but we'll have to see if they can make that happen. Especially with an S-tier killer like this, it could be a little bit more difficult. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to match 4 of Eunoia versus Insomnia. And here we already have a really, really early start compared to the last game. We have Insomnia playing the Spirit against the survivor team of Insomnia. Goes for a swing and a miss, but we are hot on the trail of Raiden. Goes for another swing and a miss. That will be our power on cooldown, except Raiden does not have enough distance to make it to that filler tile. This might be detrimental for the team. Oh my god, an early down like this would be so good. Goes for so many swings and so many misses. However, we are still an S-tier killer, and we are still on the trail of this David, who is deciding that he wants to stay on this side of the map and is probably going to be passing away at any second. Goes for another phase. Is it going to result in a down? It does. The S-tier killer definitely shows with that really quick chase, and that will be the hook counter started, our tunnel outs being scouted, and the generators being worked on, except it was a 3-man split, so we don't have a generator popping just yet. We do have Pop Goes a Weasel in our build, so that means that she can apply that to a generator. It seems that it already was, because it's not on cooldown anymore. Agitation, Sloppy Butcher, 2 perks that we saw use out of last game, and now we are already started. We already have our match sort of scouted out by the Spirit. That was a really, really good start for her. We have this generator here. It has a lot of progress, possibly going to pop. She's deciding to camp a little bit, making it so if somebody's going to sneak in for the save, it is at least going to result in an injury, except the survivors are just 3 split on generators.
And the split is going to give them a huge benefit here. Exactly what we are looking forward to when we are talking about 7 stages on 4 survivors being enough for the killer here. Insomnia needs not that much on the Spirit, and you want to make sure that whenever the killer decides to go for the camp on the first down, that he feels really punished afterwards. That's potentially going to be the result here, as 3 generators might be completed very soon. We are going to see the phase by Susu back towards the hook stage, wants to make sure that a rescue is not immediately possible. We have caught Fats on the Ada. He was ready to move in for the rescue. 75% over here at Sponge Generator already. What a great progress by the survivor team. That's something we can point out, though. And Susu potentially asking himself, after realizing that he's losing 3 gens on the other hand, if this was really the best decision. What's important now is that he's actually able to defend this hook stage. If they are able to pull this, which is going to be the case, and it's not even going to be a trade into a slug with the survivors that were moving in, then it's going to be a little bit of panic mode on the killer side, because you realize that the survivors will have more access towards the gens. Raiden, nowhere to be found, at least not where Susu is going to swing the sword at. Shack Pallet going to be sacrificed here as Raiden wants to take as much distance as possible. David on a very important run here, trying to give the survivors time for the gens, and he will successfully do that. More pressure onto Susu now. You need this down. You need this elimination. Decides to break the pallet, which causes Raiden to get more distance and making it over here. Never mind, he was trying to go for the double back. That's going to be the elimination 3v1 scenario as you were planning to, but Ray, we are almost into the end game here, so it's not sure at all that Insomnia is taking this set point.
Maybe, perhaps not. We'll have to see. This generator does get done. However, that makes it so we have one last generator to be done, but we just have 3 stages on 1 survivor. One of them is gone. That is the 3v1, however, and it's still an S-tier Spirit set, so it does look like it could result in some downs here, especially with excellent phases such as that. We have 2 injured survivors. Spats is the only one who is actually completely healed up. However, Glada is taking the chase here onto this side of the map. Goes for a swing, and it's a miss. The survivors are playing out of their mind. They are locked in. The heal does come out onto Ace over there, whether it was a med kit or a heal. The Spirit doesn't know. We know it was another survivor. He did reset them. Goes for another swing and a miss. We're going to be facing right here, trying to just buy as much time as possible. It does not end up in a down. The Claudette is just juking the hell out of these Spirit phases. Does go down, but you know, she wasted so much time, and we are on the side of the map. This is intentional. We are in this deep pocket of the Wrecker's Yard. This is a classic spot to die in Spirit sets. However, there's not a lot of generator progress right now. This does result in her being put up on hook, Ace stealthing for the save to pull at a prime opportune time, and we did have a little bit of progress happening at this corner 1 here. But the game is not over, because you can see the layout of the generators that they're sort of on the same side. It is not a close, tight region, but is still defendable with an S-tier killer, especially if we do get caught out. But it doesn't seem we are going to be. Ada taking the initiative to stealth right here causes the Spirit to rethink her strategy and possibly try to go for some downs on other survivors who are nowhere to be found. Yep, they're going to take this heal right here. That will be Claudette all the way healed up. She is the decisive strike survivor, so if we do have a 2-tap chase happening, we will have that in our back pocket. The Spirit is just trying to get downs, but the survivors are playing very slow, which is what you need to do in a set like this, where the downs can happen very quickly. Does get hit, and it is zoned on this side, though. We'll have to see if the phase can come out and make it so oh! Are we gonna see a down from this? Very expertly played! If you don't know, survivors make the same sound as slow vaulting as they are dropping an item. So what the Ada did there was try to bait the Spirit into thinking she slow vaulted the pallet, but the Spirit didn't even register that happened. Tried to phase around it, didn't hit the phase, but still got the down shortly after. Enough time where this generator got a healthy amount of progress, but we do still have some kicking perks that's going to be applied. So we're going to have possibly a Pop Goes Weasel hit the main generator there in the middle of the map. And we see the Spirit is coming right back. There's 2 other survivors. One could be sitting on the gen and one could be setting up for the save. So what the Spirit needs to do is just sort of balance everything that is going to be happening. We'll have to see if the survivors can play this well enough to get at least another gen popped.
And we are going to be on edge now when talking about the decision. 5 stages on 3 survivors so far for the killer of Insomnia. 7 on 3 was Eunoia's killer performance. This would be hook stage number 6. onto Fatsy, and if you camp that all the way, that would be the tie, but it's not even happening for one stage. Susu has to go after Fats again. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, Susu and Fats were playing on the same team a couple of years ago the Wolf Pack, and it's 2 pallet saves in a row. Fats versus Susu, turning this into one of the most exciting 1v1s even. This is personal now at this point, and after taking 2 pallet saves, you take the firecracker right at it as well. This killer has to swallow so much from the Survivor team. They are not giving him a single break here. Abdel now moving over towards this pallet and going to delay this injury even further. Fats is going to take the distance, going to help on that final gen, but now not an injury onto Abdel either, so no speedrun in the end game. Abdel is an important survivor though, because he is worth 3 additional hook stages, pushing it into 8. Sponge now taking an injury. So much is happening. Susu back and forth here, back towards the shack now, realizing that the final generator has already a good chunk of progress. Abdel has to leave on the other hand, because he is worth 3 hook stages. Standoff mind game not going to work here. 3 more stages it would be if Abdel is going to be sacrificed on the hook, meaning that Insomnia would take it with 8 stages. Balanced landing going to be in clutch, but only used very carefully here, as you want to see where the Spirit is facing. The answer is right onto your back, Abdel. 6 hook stages when Abdel's hook is coming through. 2 more, meaning that the Survivor team not only has to finish this generator, they also have to go for the rescue afterwards.
And they also have to reset as well, because these 2 survivors are injured, making so many noises, and we know that perks like Decisive Strike don't work at endgame, so this anti-tunnel is useless this game, especially because the Spirit spots out Claudette at this 4 lane. Very dangerous tile, goes for a little bit of urban evasion. You make less sound when you're crouched. Is it gonna catch out the Spirit? It does not. She sniffs her out. Does not want to be unbreakable upon taking this right here. Another stage, that means only 1 more, and saving against an S-tier killer can be difficult, especially when everybody else is injured. It is looking like this killer is sitting in such a good spot. Phases right back to the hook. All she needs to do is down 1 more survivor and place them right up on the hook, and it seems like she has already sniffed out the ace over here. Another tile that is not completely safe. There's no pallets to throw. Goes around and faces it and lands right on top of his face. Do we know where the last survivor is? Yes, we do. We are on the trail of Ada. Little does the Spirit know, you just place that ace up on the hook and that does win, except maybe she does know and she just wants to go for the best result possible. She wants to go for the 4K. She is thirsty for it. Do we spot out the Ada? We saw scratch marks, but we don't see exactly where she went. She stealthed away. Look how far she got. Now she is over here by the shack. Oh my God, she sniffed her out anyway. And that will be the last survivor placed upon the ground, meaning that this killer will be taking this game. It is Insomnia's win right here. That is exactly what they want, because they lost the first set, but they will be taking the second set. So 1-1 for each team means we go into our tiebreaker of Wraith on the Dead Dog Saloon.
Very, very nice best of 3. I'm really glad that we have the tiebreaker being needed, because I feel like both teams, Eunoia and Insomnia, deserve it. Insomnia has made an insane recovery after the rough Billy match, that's for sure, on the Spirit here clutching it, so they definitely deserve the tiebreaker. And Eunoia is staying strong as well, so if they would have lost 2-0 against Insomnia, that wouldn't have felt right as well. So 2 great comebacks from both teams equals in the tiebreaker. The Wraith on the Dead Dog Saloon, a killer where you need to make a lot of decisions very carefully. Do we want to take hits? Do we stay injured? How often do we want to abuse the main building? Or do we maybe want to move somewhere else, because main building can also spawn a rough 3-gen? All these questions are going to be on the shoulders of the survivors, and it's going to be Eunoia staying on the survivor side for this upcoming tiebreaker. We will show you exactly that right after a short break.
Welcome back, everybody, to the last match of Insomnia versus Eunoia. Insomnia playing killer. Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon. We had two killers played already, two S tiers, and we're going back down to the bottom of the barrel. We're going down to Wraith, a killer that involves a lot of looping, a lot of mind games, and a lot of just everything, a lot of pallets, and we are already starting on a side of the map that does have quite a lot. Gallows has a lot of good, medium to bad chaining tiles here. We can already see the pallets just flying. They're already getting dropped so fast. We have Garaffa playing Wraith for us, a default Wraith, incredibly scary. And we already have a tag that is happening. Sloppy Butcher allowed in the game, expertly using his body blocking mechanics to make it so that this down already happened so early. That is so huge for this killer, exactly what you need. That will be the down happening, and around basement, are we not going to take it? No, we might be eyeballing a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance hook that will make this generator, yes, lose a lot of progress. It is one here at the Gallows. Gallows infamous for having a possible potential 3-gen setup. Yes, we do have it. We have those generators there, and not much other progress on the map to speak of. This could be considered a 3-4 gen. The gens aren't that tight, but they are still close by. Wraith able to go invisible, and when he does, is a little bit speedy quick. We are finding Spunny over here as well, taking another tag and throwing the pallet as well. A 2-for-1 deal. Applying Sloppy Butcher right onto this Lori. The save happens to Claudette over here, but she is going to need to juke and try to live for her life. Look at that, trying to body block as well, but it is unsuccessful this time, meaning we are throwing Shack Pallet, an incredibly safe pallet, buying a little bit extra time to just get around, trying to get to main building. A place on Dead Dog Saloon that is good for wasting so much time. Is this gonna result in a down? And it does not. Tries to go for the Wraith uncloaked swing to get a little bit extra distance, but it is not happening.
A lot of pressure on the killer shoulders, that's for sure. That's what we can see here. Two very panic-filled swings coming out. Fats just chaining from one pillar pallet to the others. We see him emoting in the pallet. That is not a BM. That is just making sure that you can move immediately after taking the down and not falling into any weird backflip and then bugging out of the pallet. I love the skin that we're seeing on the Wraith here. This very body chopped problem that we always see in the spectator mode. And since we have this slack onto Fats in the pallet, Garaffa is giving up on that survivor, instead going for Sponge, the injured survivor here, unfortunately not being able to successfully down that survivor, breaking another valuable pallet. But in the meanwhile, Raiden has picked up Fats. Fats will make it through. The pallet will be down though, cannot pull the pallet in time. Raiden, however, is staying close, wasting quite some time here because the Wraith cannot just freely go into the pickup. A little bit of juice trying to be served there, but it's not going to be successful. The Wraith needs to watch out though that he's not letting the survivors decide too much when he can afford a hook stage, because if you're doing this too much and if you're slugging too much with the survivors, wasting your time, you might find yourself with a lot of completed gens here. So it's good that he decided to pick Fats now, because we really want the elimination here.
I don't know what happened there, Nancy. You have a flashlight. I had a little heart attack for the killer. I thought that it was going to result in like a flashlight save, but no, she tried to go for the safer pallet save, but it did not happen. Unfortunate. Now we're here at the infamous main building for Dead Dog Saloon. A good time waster for the survivors, except that it still results in a tag, and the save is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. And guess what? Everybody is injured. I remember earlier you were talking about how sometimes, you just don't escape the Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon. This is a bit smaller of a map compared to all the other maps we have in Dead by Daylight. See, right here, we're trying to take a tag just to make it so Claudette lives for just that much longer, but does that down result in anything? Does she make it anywhere? She does make it to this tile right here. Yes, we do, but we have Bamboozle. How much time is really going to be bought here? Because the rest of the team is injured. We just need time. We need a juicer chase, except right here, it's still going to result in Claudette going down. We do have more generator progress happening right here. The survivors are playing a little bit risky. That does break that tiny 3-gen that we had at Gallows. So this might result in a little bit more of time bought. We do have 3 generators done. That is good, but like I said, we could be in a really bad spot for the serves. They could be snowballed. Sponge going down right there. Fung and Nancy are still out there. Yeah, look at that. He's just snowballing it. He's trying to get these downs. Fung would have to just waste so much time. Loop for her life here. Is she able to get it? Goes around the outside. Very, very smart. Delaying the down just enough time. We need time for Survivor to recover on the ground. We need time for Nancy to get over there to just try to pick her up. Are we going to be able to buy enough distance here as well? There's no pallet. It didn't spawn. Will this result in the down? It does, but Fung jumps in the locker, meaning that she can't be slugged. So the pickup did happen onto Lori. 2 survivors still in the game, still injured, and has to heal through Sloppy Butcher, so it's gonna be taking a couple minutes.
Yeah, this is very rough for the Survivor team now, as they do not get their second injury healed, and the healthy survivor is saying, well, go deal with the Wraith. I'm going to take the window here. This is when Ray and me are swiffing, then she's pulling something like this. But this is not what the Survivor teams are supposed to do in the competitive setting here. We are going to see the quick vault with the Vamoozle, double vault even coming out, trying to throw off Sponge a little bit here. Going back though towards the hook. You want the Survivor. Oh no, we're getting stuck on the staircase there, but you do want the Nancy that is injured, that is over here, because then you can make sure that you're progressing with the highest amount of possible stages here. Quick down through the window, making sure that we are getting more of a result here. 3 hook stages is the Nancy worth. We can tell though the killer is a little bit worried about the generators then, when he's now starting to try getting the hook stages on the fresh survivors as well. Raiden waiting here real quick to not get punished by the pain res, and then pulling out of the corner. Their smart move, because otherwise you might find yourself in a very uncomfortable spot with the Wraith. Quick unhook, stun in the meanwhile. Garaffa has to take a little bit of a time loss, going immediately back though towards the main building, trying to prevent Nancy from reaching it. He will do that successfully. Rough pallets here next to the gallows area. These filler pallets are really not the safest, and therefore it's going to be a quick redown. No decisive strike is going to be allowed, so we are going to have the quick rehook. Second hook stage onto her, 60 seconds away from the elimination. Really good showing from the Wraith. With this quick rehooking now, I feel like we are going to be very much looking towards a 4K potentially.
Yep, 4K at 2 generators left. The Wraith, even though he is considered a lower tier killer, still having to hit survivors twice to get them down, can be incredibly hard to live against on this rule set. We've seen teams 4K with Wraith, we've seen teams just get 4K'd, so this is definitely a killer to look out for. We're just playing out of our mind. Look at these 50-50s we've won. Fung feeling it. Raiden playing so very well. Oh, even makes him hesitate right there. Is this gonna be a fault? Is it not? It's not gonna be a fault. It's gonna be a swing and a miss. Are we gonna fault right? Oh, another swing and a miss. Doing a really good job of just winning this slow vaulting. That's so disrespectful! Oh my god, look how much time is just being wasted! We need this. We needed this so bad. Okay, the patience happens right there. I think I would have lost it if it was another swing and a miss. Fung, thank you so much for your service. You are going up on the hook, but look how much generator progress she bought with just one pallet.
Such a good chase by Raiden, and Raiden has impressed us multiple times today on the killer and on the survivor side. So I would like to take a moment real quick to hand out the MVP medal of the day. Raiden, definitely a very decisive factor for his team here, taking a lot of responsibility and showing us a good performance. The same goes to Nancy. She had nice chases as well and is proving this right here again, taking the outline of the loop, not going to stay in the 50-50 position, and then even chaining this together. Unfortunately, then she gets a little bit greedy at the end, but also wasting more time and making sure that these survivors are getting the 4th generator at least. Keep in mind, everyone, 4K on 1 generator remaining is a common result on the Wraith on the Deadlock Saloon. Don't underestimate the power of the Wraith when we have a lot of balance restrictions for the survivor team. And Deadlock Saloon in general, a tough map, especially towards the gallows area and in the houses section, not always with the biggest amount of resources. Now, Garaffa does gain the confidence, though. We can tell here he's leaving a slug. He has 2 injured survivors. Already spots Lori as well. So you can tell he is moving towards the 4K. He's aware that he can reach the 4K. So he wants to prepare for that. And I think it is realistic. We have to get the quick down onto Lori, though. Otherwise, if Sponge 1v1 is keeping the killer a little bit busy, then the other survivors are doubling up on the gen, and that's the reason why I think Garaffa is now rotating towards the other survivors.
They're doing a really good job. Those just precious seconds that were bought from those chases, everything, it adds up. And what we thought was maybe going to be a 4K at 2 is looking like maybe they could even complete the last generator, which would be huge. 1 gen's difference in a game like this is just, it's game changing. And we're now even just taking the first fresh hook onto Sponge here, not going for any of the tunnel outs that were available. So this could be a make or break kind of situation. We have a little bit of progress here on main, but it's not super close. Will the Wraith be able to catch out Fung right here? No, he's going straight up to this building right here. Get this a tiny little bit of kick, 5% regression, and is now found the uninjured Nancy going for a little bit of slow vault. We're gonna vault it too. Look what we could do. We have bamboozle, now it's blocked. You can't go back through that. So we are going on the chase of her, gonna apply a sloppy butcher tag. Will we be committing? That's the real question. No, because there's 2 other survivors over here. Yes, they're injured, but if left to their own devices, could get that generator done. Now we have 2 gens in a 3v1 that have a respectable amount of progress. Everybody is injured, however, so any chase that isn't like at least a couple minutes will result in a down and a slug? Possibly? No. We're actually going to be taking the hook onto Raiden here, who is Death Hook. Sponge is the only one who wouldn't be Death, so now this is the 2v1. The generators do have a fair amount of progress, though. What we really need is just to get the Wraith to commit to a chase that's in a bad location and just enough time wasted that we can get this last generator done. Look, we still have so much progress here on main, little over 50%, but the Wraith does get there. He is faster while in cloak, going to be taking a kick right there. And now he's on the chase of the Nancy, who slow vaults the window again, a classic. She does have enough distance to make this window as well. The Wraith knows that, tries to take it wide. Are we going to be able to make this vault here? Yes, she does. Gonna make another vault over here. Yes, she does. This is a couple seconds that is actually bought, and we're going to this tile over here. This classic. She needs to get a really good chase here to buy just enough time for that Lori to complete that gen, but it's not enough. Gets a little greedy. Oh, and you know what? Lori's deciding just to stuff that out here in this locker. Yeah, if we get to this scenario, this is looking like a 4K1. The survivors have already accepted that. Lori has hopped in that locker. In this sort of scenario, what you could do is try to get a survivor out through the exit gate or through the hatch, because that does matter in a tie condition. And you mentioned this earlier, that a 4K1 is not an unheard of result to get on a Wraith match. So what we need to do for the killer side is find this slug survivor, because in the case of a tie, it would be going to the survivors as their win. This might end up being a little bit of a slow end game while the Wraith looks for the last survivor. She is injured and a Lori, so she's making a lot of noise. There are a lot of lockers. They've added extra edge lockers as well as time goes on. So if the Wraith even just so happens walks by this and has ears, probably will hear her, and we'll see out in a second if he's actually able to hear her in that locker. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, yeah, he hears her. He hears her.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. Yep, she is found. Lori makes a lot of noise, man. One of those survivors, and that will be the Lori dead. That will be her dead. That other survivor is slugged on the ground. However, rules this season dictate that if she bleeds out, it still counts like she is dead. At least she doesn't escape. The first fresh hook has been taken away from her, but the Wraith knows where he has downed her. Yep, and she has been found. That will result in the 4K14 team Insomnia. So to win this, Eunoia will have to 4K at 2 gens to win. And if he wants to tie it, this 4K won. But if the survivors want to win, they have to get all generators done.
And that's going to be a rough win condition on the Dead Dog Saloon. We know about the 3-gen that can spawn very tight in the Gallows area. You know about the 3-gen that can spawn right next to the main building. Not as comfortable for the killer, but still something that can turn into a really, really difficult resource for the killer. So the upcoming trial will definitely not be that easy. 4K1 is something that the killer can defend. Maybe we even see the tie and we have to run it back on the Dead Dog Saloon with the Wraith. Well, that's something that we are going to solve in the next few minutes. We will see you right after a short break. By the campfire's gentle light, DBDLeague gathers, feeling right. Laughter mixes, stories share. In this place, friends show care. Faces warm and fires glow. Eyes wide with dreams they know. Race moved through Dead Dog Saloon, but here together we feel right soon. In the night our bonds grow strong. Together in the light we belong. Cozy close we watch and cheer. A community we hold so dear. And with that, welcome back to the Alive Cat Saloon with Raiden, DBD and the Wraith. And a very clear win condition. 4K with 2 generators standing would be a win for Team Eunoia. All generators completed would be Insomnia taking it away. And ladies and gentlemen, 4K with 1 gen completed, 1 gen standing, would be running it back on the Dead Dog Saloon and finding out who's the better team on the Wraith. For now, we are kicking this off with a quick injury onto Dwight, and they better have a longer chase here.
I'm sorry, is it my turn now? Is it my turn?
Yes.
I didn't have enough time to actually come up with a poem. I don't know. I don't know how you follow something up like that, except, oh my god, they're gonna get this down super early. This is exactly what the team wants. But no, we got some jukes in our back pocket. We have Dino Dwight out here trying to take hits, but the body block is not efficient enough. Zuzu, where were you? Now we have the down happening. The survivors need to prevent downs. They need to. They have to win by just, doing all generators. So they were trying to prevent the first down from happening as soon as possible. But guess what? Dwight is down. And that will be the water tower pallet kicked. We have so many resources left on the map, so it's not over till it's over. Because this is Wraith sets. Wraith sets involve a lot of looping, a lot of juking, a lot of winning 50-50s. So the Wraith knows that and is out to pressure the map. We have a little bit of Metal of Man as well. I love that DBDLeague allows this. Oh, a little bit of mind game, but it's lost. Samurai taking the tag and is actually just being left. We have Sloppy Butcher in the game, a perk that helped a lot last game as well. Going for some random tags. However, the Wraith knows that you don't win by splitting pressure. You win by getting out a tunnel. So Dwight here, sorry man, you're the target. Oh no! Oh my god. Insane. I would have been screaming if that had resulted in a down right there. He was playing fast and loose. Goes for a tag onto the ace right here. Books it to main building. We see that Dwight has already made it. Wraith deciding not to commit to that sort of chase. It does take a long time to commit to that. Another generator does get done. Survivors is going according to plan, except now the Wraith is sniffing out Dwight, who is probably up here at main. No, he left. Oh, no, he didn't. He's actually back here. Huge time waste potential. Survivors would love to get all generators done. And we're going for some uncloaking right here. Oh, but it's expertly played. Lost the 50-50, except another generator gets done. The survivors are doing such a good job of just sticking to progress. But the game is not over just yet. The reset is happening over here. Ace is slugged on the ground. That'll be the second stage happening onto Dwight there. Are we going to be able to find the reset? The Wraith is trying to sniff it out, perhaps? The survivors do get it off, however. We don't see the Wraith. Yes, we do. He's on the trail of Renato over there. We're going to be taking some tags. Oh, goes for a window fake, a swing and a miss. A swing and a tag, however. Sloppy Butcher applied. Survivor saved off hook. Ace still slugged on the ground. gets picked up. Now, the chase is on. We just are on a timer. We have to see a wonderful fake and still a vault. We have bamboozle, man. Oh, but a wonderful mind game will result in Dwight going down. No decisive strike allowed, no anti-tunnel. This will put the survivors into the 3v1 with 2 generators left. They are fully healed, however, and there's no stages on any of them yet. So we'll have to see if they can do the last 2 generators.
Oh. One more gen and we would have the tie, and we are in the 3v1 scenario now, meaning that the generator efficiency of the survivor team is going to be greatly reduced. Whenever one survivor is in chase, one on the hook, and one going for the rescue, you have all survivors busy and there's no space anymore for the gens. However, we need a down for that first, so Raiden needs to be fast now with the chase onto Samurai, alternatively switching back towards the generators. There's also not really a 3-gen setup that the killer can work with. 2 are scattered out towards the houses section, then we have this upstairs main generator that is not that easy to reach, and same goes for the gallows generator. It always takes a little bit of extra time to push the survivor off the gallows platform, then chasing them off, and all of that can turn out to be really punishing. Double vault by our Claudette. Susu is going to take an injury and then making an unexpected turn here, not taking the furthest distance. That could be a good move for Raiden now. If he wins the mind game around this pallet, that would be a quick, nice down, but it's not going to happen. Susu too confident here as well. Back towards the main building. Raiden kind of trying to split himself. You can see that he needs to be at 2 or 3 locations at the same time. Unfortunately, especially as a weaker M1 killer like the Wraith, you will have a difficulty with that. Garafa is pulling the killer all the way into the corner of the Datuk Saloon. A really nice move here. Unfortunate for Raiden now, he will be stunned and will be on the outside of the pallet towards the edge map, meaning that Garafa can zone himself back towards this relatively okay filler pallet. The only problem is if the Wraith is going to take the sprint burst from the Uncloak, then he's fast enough to mind game you around it. The other survivors are taking the reset, so we don't have progress on the generators yet. Keep in mind, everyone, we need at least one more gen to talk about the tie here. Otherwise, Eunoia with a 4K would take this home.
And it seems that the Wraith is creating a lot of chaos within the survivors. These filler pellets are just being munched away slowly but surely, so the chases that are happening don't happen for very long, because if you just take 2 tags with nothing else to delay it, it's just going to be difficult. As survivors, when a 3v1, you need someone who sits on gens, and if somebody's on the hook, you need that other survivor to actually go for the save. So as the killer, it's a lot easier to pressure. Oh, see, right there, she might have been able to go for the save, but is now injured, so going for the save is now impossible. Renato needs to sneak on in, and he did. He's able to get it without giving a tag, but the Wraith is hot on the trail, back on it, and is now possibly going to be giving a tag. Instead, goes for a swing, that Hail Mary swing, except it hits Ace, but the Wraith says, hey man, you want to get chased? All right, I'll go for you. Now, Ace here needs to go on just a juicer chase. He needs to buy enough time for his team to actually get these generators done. Goes for a very, very confident swing through it, but is met with a pallet to the face. Ruin is still up too, by the way. I completely forgot to mention that. That means that the survivors that are not actively working on a generator means that generators are actively regressing. So if they chose not to actually cleanse the totem, that means that they're in a way worse of a spot, especially in this 3v1. And even if you wanted to go and cleanse it, you need to make it so that nobody's in a spot to actually be chased. Goes for a little bit of a patience play right there, but the Wraith says, man, I'm just gonna swing right through it, and is rewarded with a tag right here. Loses a 50-50. That's another survivor on the ground, and there's not a lot of generator progress to make up for what that chase was. So you see Claudette here is stealthing this edge map. The other survivor, Ace, was working on a generator, but man, it's just not looking good, especially because this is the only generator with progress. If the Wraith goes over there and pressures him off, which he is doing, it's just gonna regress. We're just back and forth here. Someone needs to save, someone needs to get chased. There needs to be a chase that happens to buy some time for either a reset or generator progress, but the Wraith is not giving them any sort of distance.
Talking about distance, Ace Garaffa here didn't make enough distance, unfortunately, to the Wraith to be the deciding factor in the pallet. Instead, the killer was just simply blocking it. A little bit of progress back into the generator on the main building, 30%. The other survivor is going for a rotation here. It looks more and more like Raiden actually being able to take that 4K home. This Hex Rune has done so much for the killer here. Not sure if the survivor team is unaware where the rune is located, or if they decide, just like some teams in Season 9, that rune is a little bit easier to deal with. If that was the thought process, it was definitely the wrong choice here, because Raiden was able to push the survivors so often away from the generators, making them waste time with the rescues, with the slugs, that the progress that the survivors were putting into the generators really went towards zero. Garaffa is stealthing nearby, trying to go for a quick rescue here. Meanwhile, Suzu is going to sit behind this filler pallet, but Raiden is already onto Garaffa here. The chances are just chained one into the other. Wraith, this is a 4K chance.
This is definitely a 4K chance indeed. Renato is sitting right up on hook. There's nothing left for him to do but struggle. Claudette, also nothing left for her to do. She has to just sit here. She can't go for the save. She can't go for the pickup because that guy is not fully recovered and he's instead crawling. I don't know. It's kind of looking like this is exactly what Eunoia needed. It might be looking like they're going to be taking this W today, especially because Renato missing that skill check is dying even faster. Right here, if it's still possible to tie if they get another generator done. Like I said, though, you just needed a chase, but it's not happening. There we go, Ace on the ground. And it doesn't matter if you slug in this potential, because even if Claudette gets out through the door or the hatch, this still results in a win for Eunoia. Placed up on the hook, that will be him dead. And you know what? I don't think Claudette is looking like she could actually get another generator done. So even though it might seem premature to say this, but it seems like Eunoia will be taking the W here. Are we gonna stomp? Come on, man, stomp on it. If you stomp on it, that means that she can't do gens. Come on, man. Please, just secure it. What? Yeah, there we go. That would be Eunoia taking the W from this matchup of Insomnia today. Very well played, GGs to both sides, making it all the way to the tiebreaker. You don't like it when it's a 2-0. We like to see the back and forth between the teams. They took the sets that weren't even their picks. That's crazy to see.
Yeah, a lot of nice back and forth, that's for sure. Eunoia and Insomnia deserve a huge thank you for showing us such a great run today. Insomnia is going to take the loss. Unfortunately, Eunoia is coming out stronger than them, and that has consequences for the Group B. It means essentially that Eunoia is through. There's no way that we are going to see Eunoia not making that with the 2 wins. Insomnia and Archon, though, have lost against Eunoia, and this means we are having a little bit of a losers final, if we would word it in a double elimination bracket, because whoever wins this upcoming game between Archon and Insomnia is going to move on into the playoffs.